all that God has made. There may be some challenges and some struggles going on as you hear the suffering and the pain. And I've told you how I have cut down on my travel. Because I used to cost like $45, $50 to fill up the tank of the vehicle that I drive. And I have spoken to you before about how I drive a lot because I go to places. Our ministry is a ministry that involves face-to-face and person-to-person contact, being embedded and part of people's life, part of each other's life. And we told you about this season that we are just in and not getting out. The season that goes into the life of people. But I cannot, because now it costs about $100 to fill the tank. That's twice the price. The bread that used to cost like $1.80 or $2.50 is now $4 or $5. So you find there are difficulties which was prophesied about before now. But even in all of these things that you do not give up hope. I counsel somebody this morning, a police officer, who rescued someone that was about to kill himself. The young man was about to kill himself. And then after rescuing the young man, took this young man to the hospital, handed the young man over to the security guard in the hospital for the nurses, for them to take over and give them all the paperwork regarding what transpired and what happened, and turn around and went, only to be called later on to be told that the guy escaped from the hospital, or the nurses saved the story and killed himself. And he was saying, "No, do not carry, the burden is not on you. How can I save the life of this young man only for the young man to die in the hands of those in the hospital?" The quality of people that sometimes that we're supposed to trust our lives to what is happening. In the previous message, we're talking about doctors killing people and doctors engaging in practice that is completely not acceptable before God. Negligence. People that decided to ignore the service, the life of service to their fellow humans, to their neighbors. People that abandon or the delegation of duties, responsibility over the people. The life was taken. And as the soldiers today, I use that to bring a message unto you to look in your life. Which area of your life are you neglecting? And whose life are you neglecting? How do you serve one another and your neighbors? How do you serve yourself and your family, your children? It's no longer a news about how those that are placed in the power. Because I know that we already passed that particular series, but today we are bringing it to you. Then we were talking about people like Nebuchadnezzar and the powers that sit in the principality and in the sovereign powers of nations. Today we're talking about you in your life and in your family. How do you minister in your life? Do you actually examine yourself and reflect yourself? Do you reflect upon your life? How do you reflect upon your life? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as one made in the image and likeness of God? That in the word of Isaiah, the Lord speaking through Isaiah in 49, reminds you about how He will not forsake you. Do not take your own life, no matter the circumstances. You got to trust God. If only you trust that God who loves you will not forsake you, you should not consider or think about taking your own life. Because you know that with hope and patience that God always delivers. That God is a promise keeper. He keeps His promise. He keeps His promise. No matter how small you are, no matter how big you are, no matter how young you are, no matter how old you are. In the book of Matthew in chapter 18, in verse 14, you will see the Lord Himself reminding you about how precious the little ones are. But is God only referring to the young children? But God is using the young children to actually minister to those who are old. He was speaking about those who are young in the spirit, those that are still drinking milk, those that do not know, those that do not understand the word of God and do not believe. And if you remember, the Lord gave you the message talking about the doctor has come for the sick, not for the healthy. The Lord himself came for sinners, not basically for the righteous. No, the Lord is for all. But his ministry and evangelism and the word and the work was to win and bring people back into reconciliation with God. Reconciliation with God is necessary. If you acknowledge that God has formed you in your mother's womb, as the word of Isaiah in chapter 44 made us to understand in verse 24. The Lord formed you in your mother's womb. That as you see yourself, regardless of whether you are ugly or poor, regardless of your circumstances in your life, you are the work of God's hand. Does God make what is bad? Does God make what is evil? Does God make what is not good? The one that is good, that is not evil, that is like his Father, created in the image and likeness of God, is the one that lives up to like his Father. The one that looks like his Father. Then, if you are such a precious work of God's hands, then will God destroy your life? Will God not come to rescue you? If you are a father, are you going to watch your children be destroyed? And even though your children may also be in pain and suffering, will you not do anything within your power to provide for them? So if your mother could forsake you, and God will not forsake you, God will be there for you. What is there to make you want to take your own life? To make you despair, to become hopeless, to become helpless. Men are helpless because